Flowers. They're beautiful, smell nice, and are colorful, but they serve an important purpose. And this purpose is to help the plant reproduce successfully by producing seeds that are either eaten by other animals or grow into new plants. Flowers contain both the male and female parts of a plant. The male parts are called the stamen, and these consist of the filament, which is the stalk that the anther sits on, and then the anther, which is where pollen is produced and contained. The female part of a plant is called the pistil, and this consists of the stigma, which is a part of the flower that receives pollen, the style, which is the tube that the stigma sits on, the ovary, which contains the seeds and the part of the plant that becomes fruit, and the ovules, which are the part that becomes seeds. Pollination happens when the pollen from the anther of one plant is carried to the stigma of another. Plants are either pollinated by insects or small mammals, others by wind or water. After the grain of pollen lands in the stigma of the plant, a pollen tube grows out of the grain of pollen down the style and into the ovary. The male cells travel down the pollen tube and join with the female cells, or the eggs, in the ovary. The formation of these seeds is called fertilization. After the seeds start to develop, the petals fall off and the ovary gets bigger. The ovary now would be known as fruit. The fruit's job is to protect the seeds and allow them to ripen. After fertilization, they also may dry up and form parachutes or wings to enable them to blow away and grow into new plants somewhere else. Some flowers do not get pollinated since there are so many. It does not harm the plant. The flowers simply wilt and fall off. No seeds are produced. This means less new plants can be grown. Also, if there are no seeds, then there will be no fruit. This would greatly affect ecosystems because the diets of many animals are dependent on fruits and nuts. These animals would starve. The animals that prey on these animals would also be affected. Unfortunately, flowers are not immune to diseases. Powdery mildew is one of these diseases. It is recognized by thin, white powdery growth of fungus in leaves and stems. This disease also hits flowers. Unopened flower buds that are infected may turn white with mildew. These buds might not even open at all. As soon as you discover the disease, prune the infected area and spray it with fungicidal soap or with wettable sulfur. Some breeds of flowers are more resistant to powdery mildew than others. Researchers try to breed these types of flowers. Most people don't fully comprehend the importance of flowers in our lives. But once you learn more, you learn to appreciate them on a whole new level.